Okay, we are rolling. 5432. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Jupiter's Croc here on the Outpost Unknown YouTube channel. My name is Matthew. Joining me, I still consider him late, is Ronan.
No. You see, at this point, if we were in the same state, if we were in the same city, we'd have to fight at this point. And it's not a hate thing. It's not a thing about It's not even. It's really just more of a there are lines, and if you cross over them, you just gotta get fucked up. It's really
Next time I see you, I'm just gonna slap you. I'm just gonna slap you as hard as I can next time I see you.
And it'll feel like what a hamster farting. Is that what you're threatening me with?
Well, I guess you're going to find out. Steve, who will be officiating this battle between Ronan and I, how are you? Ploticus.
Your diseased ant brain hamster farting self, apparently. Yeah, I'm back. I'm having a good time. We're definitely not just at the same poker game that we were at in the last episode.
Yeah, we just happened to pop into the exact same location. So last episode obviously ended with Darth Asher revealing his true evil self and delivering Onomaus to Glaber. Ploticus, let's take it away.
So Spartacus and group are attacking a cart hauling slaves off to the mines. And I don't recall, did we ever, I know the mines were referenced in season 1. Did we, this is the first time that we're going to see them, right?
Yes, first time.
Yeah. Alright. So they're attacking a cart of slaves, they free them, and it's dual purpose. They want to free the slaves, but also they are trying to get information about Navia. And motherfucking Agron.
Oh.
Agron.
I do not like this guy, man.
They do not make... Yeah, they don't... He doesn't come out looking very good in this.
No, this is a bad episode if you're an Agron fan. Agron is kind of like buddying up to Nasir. And
that's one way we'll phrase it. Yeah.
Well, we're not there yet, Ronan. Everyone is going around asking the slaves and the surviving Romans about Navia. They're describing Navia, and one Roman, he looks like he's fucking dead, but then he kind of jolts back to life. He's like, I've seen this woman, and like, if I tell you where she is, like you'll spare me, right?
Spend my life in a horse.
Yep. And then we cut away, and we just hear a scream. And everyone runs over, and Nasir is looking kind of down, and Agron says, this one knew of Navia, and Crixus gets all excited, like, what do you say, where is she? And they just go, dead. She's dead. And Crixus fucking loses it. They all go back
Great acting by Manu Bennett here.
Yeah.
Great acting.
They all go back to the villa, and Crixus is crying and screaming, and his other Gaul friends kind of have to like hold him and man hug him to calm him down. We see Onomaus. Glaber is still not convinced. Like Xena killed a fucking goat, and then 2 of Batiatus' slaves showed up. Like, get her like 6 more goats, and he'll have like all the Batiatus' men that he needs. But Asher like brought Onomaus to Glaber, and Onomaus is giving them nothing. He will not speak, no matter how much they torture him.
Stone cold badass.
Yeah, they brand him again, just for funsies, and Glaber is like shitting on Asher. Is like, you bring me this statue and pretend like you're
a statue that bleeds is what he calls it.
A statue that bleeds, and you think that I'm going to reward you for this? And even though I forgot that Asher was so involved with the kill or the cover up of Lycinia and holding that against Alithia. Glaber's like, I haven't forgotten that you played a hand in basically blackmailing me into granting patronage to a Batiatus' house. And Asher says, I didn't have a choice. I was following the will of my dominus, like a slave is supposed to. But if you will give me a chance, I will follow your will. And Glaber's like, well, you're not going to do that with the brand of Batiatus on your arm. Cut it off. And so Asher looks at this raised letter B branded into his arm, and Glaber hands him a knife. Now, I don't know much about branding. It looks very surface level. I feel like you shouldn't have to dig deep to get this brand off. Asher's fucking scooping ice cream with this goddamn knife.
It looks like he's gonna cut some major veins and arteries.
Yeah,
Let's just go right into the muscle
He
and fat
almost didn't
tissue.
have a fucking hand anymore after this. He dug much deeper than I think he needed to dig. Regardless, he cuts off his brand, and so now he's going to be given a chance. Like later on throughout the episode, we see Onimeus basically tied up outside, being starved and kept from water as Asher tortures him and tries to get any sort of information.
One thing about those torture scenes with Asher and Onimeus, interesting. Rob Tappert was on this audio commentary, and he admitted that he was wrong about something. He tried to get almost all of those scenes cut out because he's like, it just goes on and on and on. We see Asher just torturing this guy on and on and on, and he's like, it's just boring. And then Stephen Knight again was like, no. And so they left him in, and then he watched it when it was all done. He's like, the actor's performance, was it Nick Terabay? Is that his name? So great. He's like, you just can't help but be engaged in watching him just be such an evil asshole. And so yeah, they were going to cut those originally.
Yeah, I mentioned this when we were talking about the first season, but Asher really is, because Glaber, we mentioned this last episode, Glaber just genuinely sucks as a villain. Asher really has to, in this season, he really picks up he picks up that mantle. At least to me, I think in my eyes, in this season, he really is the main villain of this season. Because without him, nothing else works.
I'd agree with that.
I don't think Glaber sucks. He's just he's definitely the weakest main villain. But I still like Glaber a lot. But anyways, Onimeus is being tortured by Asher for information. We'll see how that plays out later. Glaber kind of just goes back into the villa, and suddenly Alithia, a heavily pregnant Alithia, is there with her dad and Verinius. And Verinius is the guy from a couple episodes ago that definitely wants to bang Alithia, and isn't exactly hiding his intent. And Glaber is very annoyed because no one told him that these people were showing up, and they basically proceed to shit on him. And Alithia goes off with Verinius to get drunk.
Fucking villain.
Meanwhile, Alithia's dad tells Glaber that we're going to have games. We're going to have more gladiator matches, like 2 weeks of games, just to take people's mind off the fact that you can't fucking catch Spartacus. And we are going to parade you out there and just let people gawk at your army. And the dad kind of pitches it as this is going to lift spirits to see the Roman army, or at least the Roman men, in such glory. But Glaber knows that he's just being fucked with. He's being taken away. He has men dispatched to the south. I guess Marcus, the guy, he has Marcus and Marcus's men out hunting for Spartacus, and he has to call those men back to basically be paraded out for people to just stare at and clap. And Glaber is not happy about this, but Alithia's dad doesn't exactly give him a choice, and so we've got more games coming up.
He's like, because he's like, am I not the same status as this asshole? And the dad's like, yeah, but not in my eyes.
In name only.
Yeah,
I think it was in title only, or name, something like that. Yeah.
He's like, you fucking bitch.
You suck. You suck, Glaber, is what Olympia's dad is basically telling him.
Yeah.
So what happened with Crixus? Crixus is back at the villa. He is very sad. Heart with him and tells him that, hey, I've been there. Crixus asks him, how did you survive your wife dying? And Spartacus says, I basically didn't. I consider myself a completely different person now. The man I used to be died with my wife. Crixus says that he feels responsible for Naevia because when he wanted to pursue Naevia, he gave no thoughts and no fucks about what happens if the affair is discovered. It didn't even consider to him. He didn't even think about like what Xena would do if this was found out. And so he blames himself, and Spartacus tries to get him to basically join his quest to free slaves. It's like Naevia was this amazing woman, and yet she still died a slave. And we don't want that for the rest of the slaves, so let's go free them. And Crixus is not having it right now. He's like, you've told me this before, like I'm not into it yet. And so they have to table the discussion. Crixus is not yet on board with going in and rescuing slaves.
Real quick, before you move on, that scene between Spartacus and Crixus, they reshot that because when they first watched it, Spartacus starts crying. And Crixus starts crying, and they were like, "We can't have these two badass dudes crying with one another."
Why?
And so I don't know. I don't know. They should have,
That's
but
stupid.
they reshot it. They wanted at least one of them to not be crying. I was
Get
like,
your
"That's
fucking
that's
toxic
weak.
masculinity out of
Yeah,
my show.
Hold on. Look at
about to
look
say.
at this fucking asshole. Look at this guy. I'm going all in here. Quick
Oh,
break here.
oh.
Boom. Boom.
Oh, full house. I think he got this. I don't think there's a way for him to win.
Give me all your monies.
Oh,
Okay,
he tried.
continue.
Nice.
Continue.
All right. Ronan, he's got a fucking sandwich in front of him.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's a burger.
we see
I will
Agron
take
and
that
Crixus.
sandwich.
Or sorry, we see Agron and Spartacus, and they're making plans, and they're going. Their ultimate goal is to get to Vesuvius because it gives them basically high ground. It gives them a place where they
And we
can
all know
stage-
what happens when you got the high
Yep.
ground.
It gives them a place to stage attacks on the surrounding area. They also talk about, I think it's Neapolis. Basically, slave ships come to port in Neapolis, or whatever this place is called. And Spartacus didn't arrive at this port, but Agron did. And Agron tells Spartacus, like, this is where fighters come. Like, people captured in wars are like soldiers captured in wars are brought here to become slaves. And Agron tells Spartacus, like, not only can we get slaves that can actually fight, but they're slaves. Their armies just lost to Rome. They will be very on board with joining our cause. And so Spartacus is like, I'm on board with this. So Spartacus and Agron have plans to go to Vesuvius and also free some actual soldier slaves. The only issue is Crixus going to be on board with this? Because the Gauls are still not fully in support of Spartacus. They still want to do their own thing. When Spartacus issues an order, they always retort with, well, what does Crixus have to say about this? And so Crixus comes out and gives this great speech. And he's like, I've lost Naevia, Spartacus lost his wife, Agron lost a brother. But
Look at him. He's sending out an olive branch there.
He is. He's whatever issues he had with Agron, he doesn't have them in this moment. He's going to have them again real fucking soon. But in this moment, he doesn't have those issues. He tells people that we've all lost people, and because of that loss, we all have a fire inside of us, and I would turn that into an inferno. I'm going to Vesuvius with Spartacus. And so, for about 5 minutes, everyone in Spartacus's group is united. They have one goal in mind. And then the next day, when they're planning to head to Vesuvius, Crixus goes and makes peace with Nasir, because Crixus was the one in favor of just killing Nasir when he tried to assassinate Spartacus in the previous episode. And Crixus admits that, I basically was racist against you. Like, I met a Syrian before. We did not have a good time. He hurt Naevia. He's talking about Asher. I held all of that against you, even though it wasn't your fault. Naevia wouldn't want me to do that. I am
Look at
going
this
to be a better
growth.
person to you.
Look at this growth that this character has gone
Yes.
on since Gods of the Arena. It's incredible.
Yep.
It's great.
And then
It's gone. It's gone.
extends-
It's completely gone.
Crixus extends his hand. He wants to make peace with Nasir, and Nasir says, I have to tell you something. Cut to Crixus yelling Agron's name and running and fucking Goldberg spearing him to the ground.
Good God, King! Spear! Spear! Spear through the table,
He's
King!
broken in half. And Spartacus is like, what the fuck is going on? 5 minutes ago, we were united. And Agron's plot is revealed, and Spartacus says, a lie for the greater good. And then he turns around and just slaps the shit out of Agron.
Well, exactly
And
what
he
I'm
tells him
going to do
what's
to
gonna
Ronan
happen to
next
Matt.
time I see him.
No, I said it first. I did it first.
Shut up! He tells Agron that if it was your brother Duro in the mines rather than Navia, no one would have lied to you about it. Like, we would have gone and helped you. But Agron's like, I'm not going to die for Navia. Like, he's essentially, he's talking about the greater good. It's like,
Needs of the many.
Needs of the many. We let Navia die, and the rest of us go to Vesuvius to regroup and start our plans to wage war on the Romans, or we go and rescue this one woman, and a bunch of us will probably die in the process. And Agron's not having that.
Question for you guys, real quick. So, let's put ourselves in this situation. Let's take away the fact that Agron comes across as a total asshole in this, but let's just focus on his point compared to like Crixus' point. If we were in this situation, is Agron's point more apt and something like, well, yeah, he's technically right, or would we be like, fuck that, we're gonna go, get Alyssa or get Maddie, fuck it, that's what we're doing. What would you guys do in this situation?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, we are cursed with the knowledge of, hindsight. We know exactly what is going to happen.
Yes, I
know. And so within the context, I mean, he's absolutely proven correct. Everything he warns them that will happen, spoilers, happens. Now, of course, we can also make the argument that, with more hindsight of knowing what happens in, the next season, that it's worth it because, we know what's going to happen. But I mean, for all intents and purposes, he's correct. It's like we're going to lose several people in an effort to save this one person.
So you would be on Agron's side in that situation, is what you're saying? Like, you would be one of the if Agron's like, hey, the gladiators who want to come with me, come with me. Would you go with, in that situation, forget hindsight, in that situation, Ronan, would you go with Agron or would you go with Spartacus and Crixus?
I'd probably go with Agron in this because it's like he's right.
You're one of those. Okay.
He's
Steve,
right.
what would you do?
He is fucking correct.
What would you do, Steve?
Yeah, I'm kind of a pussy, so yeah, I think Agron is correct. I'd probably go with him.
God.
So here's
I
the
would
question.
go with Crixus, man. I'm rolling with my boy.
And you might die. But
Fine.
that's my next question. Like, if it had been Agron's buddy who likes whores and axes, who I don't even know if he has a name. If that guy had been like, hey, Spartacus, my girlfriend's in the mines, can we go rescue her? Do you think Spartacus would have said yes? Or would he have been like, we'll get vengeance for her?
No,
it's fine.
I think he would, because Spartacus comes out and says, look, we gotta protect everybody. We're no better than the Romans. That's literally what he says.
Yes, but
He
then he
says
leaves
that.
everyone else in the mines.
Well, no, there is
Well, he
a
doesn't
line.
leave them. It's not like he intentionally leaves them in the mines.
No, he has a. There is a this is spoilery for a few minutes down the line when they're in the mines in this very episode. But no, Spartacus tells the slaves inside that mine. He's like he tells them all survive and know that I will come back for you.
Yeah. Now you could argue he
it.
leaves Crixus behind, but Crixus told him, "Get
All
Navy
right.
the fuck out of
Let's
here."
let's just back up because we're jumping ahead right now.
Okay.
Agron says anyone who doesn't want any part of this stupid shit, come to me with Vesuvius. Anyone who wants to die, go with Spartacus and Crixus. And and eventually, Agron tells him, I tell Spartacus, it's like, if you survive, come find us and we'll join up again. And then Crixus is like, you better hope I don't fucking make it. And he says that line with a fucking smile, like he is daydreaming about all the horrible shit that he's going to do to Agron if he makes it out of this.
I love Crixus.
But
I love him.
Much to Agron's displeasure, Nasir volunteers to go because Nasir says, "I've been to the mines before with my Dominus. I might be able to help." Before this, some more Nasir stuff. The same blonde worm tongue slave that was like whispering
Shadara,
in Mira's ear. Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah,
talking about.
blonde chick.
Yeah. The slave that was leading Mira astray, she began like having sex with Raskos just for position, as she says, but she also tells Nasir, hey, I know that you and Agron have feelings for one another. You should go for it. I'm going to go fuck Raskos because I think that benefits me somehow. But she encourages the relationship between Agron and Nasir, which will blossom later in the show. But for now, Agron is very upset that Nasir is not coming with him to safety. And so all of the gladiators that are going with Crixus, they strip down. They make jokes about, are we going to fight naked with our dicks?
Hey, I have a funny fact about that. So,
well, of course you do.
No prosthetics. Rob Tappert said there was no prosthetic penises in this show at all, and he's like, they just told the actors, if you want to go completely naked, we'll pay you a bunch of money. And so the ones that went naked are the ones that got a lot of money.
All right, well, good for them because
that's
the horse cocks.
That's a great fact, Matt. Great.
Hey, that's what I'm here for. Yeah, no problem.
Anyways,
thanks, man.
Spartacus and Crixus' group, they load up into carts. They present themselves as slaves. For whatever reason, Nasir makes sense to pretend to be the leader of the slave master of this cart. I have no idea why they selected fucking Raskos to also be like the slave that's in charge. But anyways, they're heading off towards the mines to rescue Navia and just Navia. Meanwhile, we see the games that were talked about, and I guess Verinius or Varius, whatever the fuck his name is, the guy that wants to bang Alithia and apparently has Alithia's dad's blessing to do so.
You should just say one of the guys who wants to bang Alithia,
yes,
because it's
a normal straight male that exists in this show who wants to have sex with Alithia, as everyone does. It's time for the games, and so he makes this big speech. We see gladiators fighting, and then it's time for Glaber's men to show up. Oh wait, before that, we'll talk about this first. But we got to back up to talk about Animaeus again. But Glaber,
we missed
Glaber
him torturing.
I fucking get it, Ronan. I'm gonna double back around to it, you piece of shit. I'm just
so much
this goddamn
tension.
Hamburger that's in front of Matt's character.
It looks good, doesn't it?
Anyways, it's time for Glaber's men to come out, and then they don't show up, and everyone boos, and Glaber gives a speech saying that, oh, I'm so sorry my men couldn't be here. They're actually on an important mission to go catch Spartacus. Like, as we speak, they are closing in on him, and it does not take much to rally a Roman crowd to your side. Because I didn't find his speech all that impressive, and yet at the end, everyone is cheering Rome, 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 Rome.
I think it's because he's like, we're gonna get Spartacus. Because the whole town, remember, they think like Lucretia's alive, and they're blessed by the gods, and they're Romans. They want Spartacus dead.
Yes. Well, these games that were supposed to prop up Verinius and kind of shit on Glaber, Glaber has turned this to his advantage, and now everyone in the arena is on Glaber's side. So, how did Glaber know where Spartacus was? Asher is torturing Animaeus to no avail. Animaeus is giving him absolutely nothing. And then Xena, who again question, is she crazy or is she scheming or is it both? She tells
this
Asher,
episode would lead you to a little column A, a little column B.
Yeah, it's hard to tell because she looked fully crazy in episode 1, and then I kind of backtracked on that episode 2. I don't know where we're going to end up at the end of this season, but she tells Asher, well, a lot of things happened in this Ludus that you don't know about. There's secrets abound in these walls. Gannicus fucked his wife, and so
use that, Darth Asher.
Yes, and so Asher goes and begins torturing Anameus again. And he's like, "Oh, love hurts a man. It hurt Crixus when Naevia was taken away. It hurt Spartacus when his wife was killed. I bet it hurt you when Gannicus fucked your wife." And Anameus is not having it. He is not having it. But Asher eventually convinces him, "Hey, how did your wife exactly get that poison wine? Why was she found with Gannicus? The truth hurts, doesn't it?" And Anameus...
He says something great. He has some sort of great line. I don't know what it is exactly. He's like, just another man fallen for a woman who's gotten dicked by multiple men, or something like that. And you're just like, God, this guy is so evil.
Asher is an incel, 100%. But so Anameus slips up, and so Asher is talking about all the loves of these men's lives. Spartacus's wife, Anameus, he lost his wife, and then he mentions Naevia, and I don't remember the exact line, but Anameus says something about like how they will find her or they won't abandon her. And I threw away a full house, you son of a bitch! God damn it. Anameus accidentally lets slip that they're hunting for Naevia. And Asher's like, fuck, I fucking figured it out. And like the reason they hadn't been able to find Spartacus was because they weren't going where Spartacus wanted to go, they were going where Crixus wanted to go. And Asher goes and presents that information to Glaber, and Glaber's like, "I'm not like you've told me nothing. I am not impressed with this. Like you gave me like the scantest information. Fucking kill Asher." And so the guards go to start to kill Asher, and then Xena shows up and says, "You would defy the gods?" Basically. Saving Asher's life by pretending that the information that Asher has gained is supported by the gods, and so Glaber's like, fine, I will send men down to the mines to try to find Spartacus, and that's where we're at after the games. So the cart pulls up, and Nasir is trying to pass himself off as the slave master. He's fumbling. There's this just disgusting human being who is giving Nasir shit, and then Mira pops out and it's like, oh, should I present myself now? And so she goes off to distract the guy running the mines by fucking him, but it doesn't work out because she pulls a knife and threatens to cut his dick off until he tells her where Naevia is in the mines. She eventually kills the guy. I think this is the first person that Mira kills, but there's a moment before they leave where Mira tells Spartacus, like, I don't just want to go to bed with you. I want to go on the battlefield with you. She wants to be like his equal. I want to learn to fight. Yeah. Yes. So Mira's little bit of character development in this episode is she wants to become a warrior. And so she tells Spartacus, I want to fight, I want to learn to fight, and then she kills this guy after like getting him to tell her where Naevia is. And so Spartacus's group kills like the bodyguards that are outside. He leaves 2 of them behind to take their place, and they go into the mines to hunt for Naevia, who they eventually find, but not before Glaber's men. Marcus and his group show up. Asher recognizes the 2 decoys that Spartacus left outside, and so Asher kills them, points out to the fact that they've got the band of Batiatus on their arms, and so now Marcus knows that, yes, Spartacus is here. They infiltrate the mines. There's this cool battle throughout the mines where it's the Romans versus the gladiators. Eventually, they rescue Naevia. They leave everyone else behind. Spartacus tells them, survive and I'll come back for you.
Yes.
But still, he went on this journey to rescue one person, and gets the one person and leaves everyone else behind.
They didn't have the manpower to take down everybody in the mines. He's coming back. They could have taken
more than
It was almost like people. It was almost like they were told this very situation was going to happen.
Weird, right? It's
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
like Agron was absolutely correct in what he said. Anyways, Romans versus gladiators in the mines. Mira is leading them out. They find this gate that will lead them to safety, but the Romans are on their ass, and so Crixus says, get Spartacus, get Naevia out of here. I will hold them off. And so Spartacus gets the rest of his surviving crew, gets them through the gate, locks it against Naevia's wishes. Crixus fights off the Romans, but eventually he's knocked out. And also Raskos was there. I don't necessarily know why Raskos didn't flee with Spartacus. Maybe he just wanted to stay and help Crixus. But there was no point
he's a
where
true
Raskos.
homie, Steve.
Yeah, there was no point where Raskos was like, "Yeah, I'll stay behind too." He's just there.
I think isn't there like
reason.
one other guy? That's the next episode. Because I could have swore there was more than like two of them, but I can't.
Yeah,
remember.
well,
We haven't
all
watched
we
that episode
see,
yet.
all we see, I believe, is Raskos and Crixus staying behind to basically guard the exit to let Spartacus flee. They get defeated. Crixus gets knocked out. Fade to black, and that's the end of the episode. This is one of my favorite episodes of the season. I remember the assault on the mines being very cool, and it did not disappoint upon what's probably like my fourth viewing of this episode.
Yeah, this is a great episode. A few fun facts. The cave sequence was one of the worst that the actors went through filming this entire series. The director just kept dumping mud on them constantly throughout the whole thing. Apparently it was hot,
As you
terrible.
do when you're a director.
Yeah, hot, terrible, cramped, and they just constantly had mud dumped all over them. There is a moment when Crixus first finds Naevia that there's like another slave that turns and like tries to protect her. That was actually supposed to be Naevia's friend. So they had a whole subplot where Naevia was in these mines, and she actually had a friend that was trying to like help her, but they ended up not being able to film any of that stuff. So the only thing that actress got to do was turn around and like take a swing, but that was supposed to be like somebody there that Naevia was friends with.
By the way, this is Naevia 2. The character
yes.
was recast, and I don't necessarily know why she was recast, but this is a different actress playing Naevia.
I think I read many, many years ago, I could be wrong about this, but the original actress was kind of like not into doing all of the nudity that was required for this show, and I think that's kind of one of the reasons why she kind of left the show. But I could be wrong about that.
I hope Xena didn't like leave negative comments about her, like the girl that played Aurelia.
Yeah. And so there's also we see briefly Sepia again in this episode, and she's outside on the what do they call that? Where they're Pulmonus, yeah. They actually had a bunch of seafood there. That was real seafood. It was super, super hot, and it was apparently getting really nasty, but that was an actual real octopus that she ate. The girl who plays Sepia, Stars did not want her. They thought that she looked way too young for the role and wouldn't work.
She does. She looks like she's 12.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's really creepy.
They actually had to put her in makeup and costume and take her in front of the Stars executives to quote-unquote show that she could play the role. But I agree with you guys. She looks a little too young.
Her scene in the Pulvinus is like she's continuing to give shit to Alithia about how much it must suck to be pregnant and to be tied down with a husband. And Alithia is starting to really have issues with her relationship with Glaber. Like, she tries to seduce Glaber at one point, and Glaber, stupidest man in the show, turns her down.
Yeah.
Because he has other things in his mind, like catching Spartacus. And so Alithia very, sadly says, lust is one of the first things to go in a marriage. But they're all kind of like, well, one day Sepia is going to have to, settle down. And she's like, well, he's going to have to be rich and famous and good looking. And then she kind of starts looking at Verinius. Much to Alithia's dismay, because Alithia now has the hots for Verinius.
Yeah. But, I mean, those Roman men, they want the young ladies. And Alithia is not that young of a lady, and she's going to have a kid. So I think that's a whole aspect of the show is like all the mind games and the social strata that all these characters are trying to sort of maneuver around, where it's like Alithia realizes, well, she's pregnant. She's not the character. She's not going to be seen as kind of like that, hey, I can do whatever I want, young, hot, sexy woman that was in Blood and Sand. Now she's going to be a mother and have all these responsibilities, and Glaber could drop her at any time. It's harder for her to secure what she wants to secure when she's got a kid. Ronan, what did you think of this episode? Was it good? Okay, cool. Steve, what did you think?
One of my favorites of the season. Loved it. Love every part of it. Can't wait for the next episode. Hopefully Ronan's on time for that one.
You have any thoughts, Ronan, for this?
Yeah, great episode. Good episode. Good writing for everybody. Good Asher moments, because you get his speech that he's giving on Emmaus while he's torturing him, talking about all the terrible things that he has done. It's like, I remember it like it was yesterday. I was standing right here when I saw Crixus fucking Navia, and I remember it like it was yesterday when I was upstairs plotting with Badiatus to kill such and such. Yeah. And that's when he drops the whole and it was just upstairs where Granicus took your wife for the first time to entertain some romance. He's such a prick. He's so great. He's a great villain.
I'm glad they didn't cut those scenes.
Yeah. This
I don't know what the season would not be the same without that.
Yeah.
So, the season would not. I try to imagine this season had Asher been killed in season 1. I try to imagine it without him. It's you'd have to rewrite everything. It could nothing could flow. It had to be a completely different season without him. It's no doubt for the worse.
I'm going all in, gentlemen. This is the end of the episode.
I am as well.
Going all in blind.
Fantastic episode. Love every part of it. Lots of great character moments between everyone, even when they're being shitty characters like Agron.
I think the mine looked cool too. They actually did a pretty cool job on the mine, and they mentioned that they actually hired a ton of people for extras for that whole mine sequence because they didn't want it to look like there was just a few.
Because Spartacus couldn't be fucked to rescue them.
Well, I mean, he's coming back for him, Steve. So I mean,
Steve
wants Spartacus to die. I think that's the thing. Steve wants Spartacus to die. Ronan's only got 3.2 thousand chips. Okay.
I mean, I don't have much. I'm going all in blind. Let's do this.
All in. Here we go.
This is a bad idea. This is always terrible.
All in.
Matt's one. I don't know that I've played much this entire recording session. So Matt will have plenty of money left even if he wins this one or loses this one.
Unless
I think
these people
three of us. These pieces of shit. Come on, dude. 31,000. You got this.
He's full. That's the guy that was. He won quite a bit.
Yeah.
Here we go.
There we go.
Come on, dude.
Don't be afraid to be a part of the mythology.
Yeah. There it goes.
Come on, dude. Come on.
Oh.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
Queen Jack. Queen Jack.
Boo.
Oh.
Give me 4s.
Oh no,
Ace
King. Oh, that guy's got
4s.
Ace King.
Has a lot of fucking chips.
Oh god!
Oh my god!
Jesus
God
Christ!
damn it!
I'm gonna split with this dude.
Yeah. I don't think there's any way anyone else can win.
No. I hate this. Why do I keep?
Oh, he got a fucking flush! He got a flush on the river!
It wasn't Matt! Go fuck yourself! You deserve this!
No!
I don't feel bad anymore. That's it. I'm leaving. Thank you for listening to another exciting episode of Jupiter's Croc. Join us next week, and if Ronan deigns to present us with his presence, maybe we'll talk about episode 4.
And cut.
Piece of shit.
Okay.
You deserve.
God.